Hey guys, so I just watched this absolutely ridiculous YouTube video, which I am not going to link because I don't want you to watch it, where this guy was comparing stuff that Neville said in his early days, before he supposedly received the promise, whatever. I mean, my interpretation of what the promise is essentially spiritual enlightenment. So this guy was comparing his works from before that to his works after that, and where his things changed slightly. I have read all of Neville. I don't see a huge difference in the things he said, on year 1 and the things he said on year 20. They are phrased differently. It's clear that Neville had experiences during that time that caused him to express himself differently, but there is not much of a difference between early Neville and late Neville. But that is not the point. The point of this video is not to talk about Neville. The part of this video that to me was completely ridiculous was basically this dude's conclusion was that, early Neville is bunk. You really don't need it. And what you really need to do is just read his later stuff and go with that. Just completely and totally missing something I think is really obvious. Maybe this is just my experience, but you can't decide where you are in this process. What you understand is what you understand. And if you, for example, if you're basically, if you're in a place where you only understand 2 + 2 = 4, then if you see a complicated calculus equation, you're going to recognize all the numbers and symbols. Maybe not even then. Maybe you won't even recognize all the symbols, but you'll recognize them, but they won't make any sense to you. And if you try to make that into something you understand, you will completely distort it, and it will come through your 2 + 2 = 4 level of understanding, and you will just bungle your interpretation of the whole thing. And I speak from personal experience that if you do that, you have a very good chance of taking whatever your conclusion is and completely screwing up some aspect of your life. So obviously most of the people watching this video are not at the 2 + 2 = 4 level. I don't think I appeal to people who were coming from a point of view of thinking this is all there is and there's no spiritual world beyond this or any of that. So I'm not, that's just to make a point that I'm using that equation example. You can't, unfortunately, force yourself to understand something more than you do. Understanding comes through experience and sometimes revelation. And so, I hate to say this, and perhaps you can manifest a greater understanding. I think if you intend to know more or intend to understand more, that you can then bring about an experience or something that does that for you. That I think you can do. But other than that stuff, you can't force yourself to understand what Neville, who was speaking from a completely different place in his mind than where you are right now, was saying. You just can't, you're not going to be able to take it and do much with it. So the idea that you can choose which one, this one is more advanced, or he was wrong in the beginning. Neville wasn't wrong at any point in any of the things he said. Neither is anyone else who is explaining this. Everyone is speaking from where they are, and you can only understand it from where they are or greater, if that makes sense. For me, I can totally tell when somebody is coming at something from a victim standpoint, even if they don't see themselves that way. I can totally tell when, somebody wants something and it's coming from something other than a true desire. That shit is so obvious to me because that's where I've been. That's what I've been through. So now on the other side of that, I can see behind me, and I can see when people are doing that, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're at some lower spiritual level than me. That particular thing I understand. And I'm sure that, you know, somebody who is much further advanced than I am can watch this video and say, you know, she is still coming at this thing from believing that there's a second cause. You know, she's still coming at this thing without fully understanding what, you know, the I am means or whatever, because that's kind of where I am. I'm sort of at the point where I'm still fully trying to absorb the, you know, that nothing outside creates anything inside. I'm almost to the end of that. The biggest hurdle for me for that is physically. I've talked about that on this channel. I have to look a certain way in order for me to be beautiful. And in order for I am beautiful to be true for me, I've been stuck on outside appearances. And that's like my central human theme in my life. That's been the biggest central thing that's affected everything. So somebody who's way past that could listen to me talk and, you know, point out all these things where I'm not seeing because I haven't gotten there yet. The point of this video is to say that there is nothing wrong with where you are, and embracing where you are and moving forward is really all you can do. It's really what it's about. And, you know, as kind of a postscript to this video, I think if I had to describe what is my overall life direction and intention, it has always been forward motion under everything. It's always been move me forward, move me towards the end, move me towards the highest enlightenment. I mean, since I was a kid, and of course I wouldn't have phrased it that way, but I've always felt like even if I have to go through pain, as long as it is for expansion, forward motion towards that goal, I want everything I do to be going towards that. That's been my underlying life directive, and every single thing in my life then has been used for that. Someone else might have taken my entire life experience and used it some other way if they had some other thing that they wanted. So, you know, you can decide that for yourself also. And then everything that you do and see will be used to further your understanding and move you forward. And if that's what you want, you can have it. That's it.